Welcome back. Earlier this week, President Cyril Ramaphosa appointed Dr. Silas Ramaite acting National Director of Public Prosecutions. The former NDPP Mxolisi Nxasana welcomed the news, saying Ramaite is a good man who comes with no baggage. The Constitutional Court on Monday ordered Nxasana to pay back over 10 million rand, which he received as a golden handshake to leave his job. In a frank interview with eNCA's Siphamandla Goge, Nxasana says his life has been in limbo for a very long time.
You have not been working for 3 years. Yes. You have to pay back 10 million. How do you pay back such a huge amount of money?
Well, I think it's one of the considerations that I have to make. I think I have to pay it. The ruling doesn't say where I should pay this money or to whom I should pay the money. Then I'll wait for whoever that I'm required to pay back that money to approach me. Then probably will then enter into some negotiations. And
do you still have that money though? Is it still in your bank account or you have spent some of it?
I don't have it.
You have spent all of it?
I had to leave. I had to earn a living, my brother. I had liabilities. And remember when the money came, I didn't steal it. It was paid into my account. I wasn't working. And I had liabilities that I had to see.
What are your feelings towards former President Jacob Zuma?
Well, my feelings towards President Zuma is that I regarded him as a father, firstly. My father and him were in the struggle, in the ANC struggle. And I respected him, and I still respect him to this day as a father. But I was very disappointed at what he did to me. Because really, not only to myself, because this affected my family a great deal. I am where I am today, being the victim of all the circumstances here, because of him, because he allowed himself to be threatened or intimidated by people who had their own agendas to make him institute the Commission of Inquiry, and not only the Commission of Inquiry, to get rid of me.
Did you ever ask for a file pertaining to his fraud and corruption charges?
Not at all. It's very strange, because the file, I later learned that it was in the possession, all along it was in the possession of Advocate Chiba.
Surely that must have surprised you, because at least you should have known about it.
Yes, that's not the only file that she was dealing with. The other file, it's the matter of general poison.
Would you ever reinstated corruption and fraud charges on former President Jacob Zuma if you were still there?
If I was still there, and if I had read the docket and considered the evidence in the docket and was satisfied that there is just a prima facie case against him, yes, I would have done so.
Some people say, listen, you should have just taken the money, go home, keep quiet. You wouldn't be in this situation that you are in right now.
Okay. Well, that's exactly what I did. I didn't take the money. In fact, I came back to Durban. I remember I was joking when an SMS came through. In fact, I thought it was 10,000 rand because I was joking. And later on, I discovered, oh, 10 million rand. I almost fainted. Fortunately, I was no longer jogging. I was at home, sitting at home at the time. But the point I'm making is, I did just that until not because there was anything I suspected sinister about it. I thought that everything was above board. And I take it that the amount of that magnitude could not have been authorized by the CEO only. I think the DG was involved. I think the minister also was involved, because a memo had to be sent to them authorizing the payment of this magnitude. The issue where you say, if I sat home and did nothing and didn't say anything, I sat home until I was served with the papers by, I think, Freedom Under Law, if I'm not mistaken. Then I said, oh, here is trouble. But still, I said, you know, I've been subjected to all this humiliation about at NPA. When is this thing going to end? I'm going to abide. I don't have to say anything. They want the money back. I said to myself, I'm going to abide. But then I made it a point that and I was not even prepared at the time, you know, to file an affidavit, because I was abiding at the time. But until the president, former President Zuma, made some wrong arguments about me, suggesting that I made a request to vacate office, then I felt I had to clear that.
So you feel betrayed by him?
I felt betrayed by him. But there is another story to all this. You know, it's easier for people to say, why didn't you do this? They don't know the people I was dealing with.
Please share with us.
You'll be the judge of what happened here. We're fresh from what was going to be the Commission of Inquiry. We had a file, liver arch files of this big. I think there were 2 or 3. Though that was my file at my attorney's office. What happened is, when the applicants brought this application, the president delayed. He couldn't answer he couldn't answer the papers of the applicant.
What were they about?
That is the application. That is the application that was brought by Freedom Under Law and Corruption Watch. He couldn't file his answering affidavit, and they were then forced, to come to me in Durban, here in Durban. And he then attempted to influence me to work with them, with the president. And I made it very clear that I'm an officer of the court. I cannot say anything, I cannot mislead the court in what I'm going to say.
But that's a serious allegation. How did he attempt to influence you?
He even offered to pay for my counsel. He wanted me to work with them. And I said to him, look, Mr. Harley, you are suggesting that I must agree that I made a request to vacate office, when you definitely know that that is wrong. It never happened, and you know. And I think the biggest mistake that I made is to remind him that, remember that in our correspondence from my attorney, there is a letter where I stated categorically clear that at no stage did I initiate even the process, the mediation process. At no stage did I make a request to vacate office. In fact, I consider myself to be fit and proper to hold the office of the NDPP. It's in black and white. It's there. Therefore, any suggestion that I would say otherwise would amount to misleading the court, and I'm not prepared to say so.
Are you saying Mr. Hali attempted to bribe you?
Well, it's not to bribe me, but he attempted to influence me to say something that is wrong, which did not happen.
Why did you not report him to relevant authorities?
You know, he was reported. I filed my affidavit. And he said he went as far as to suggest that he will share the president's draft of his answering affidavit. And he assured me that I will see in the draft that there is nowhere where he mentioned that I made a request.
So you're saying Mr. Hali attempted to capture you?
Well, if you use those words, but he tried to influence me.
After this whole saga is done, what would you want to see happening that will put your mind and your heart at ease, at least?
Well, I want to move on with my life. Well, unfortunately, in moving on with my life, there is this amount of money that I have to raise because I have to respect the court order. Yeah, that's basically what I want to see happening, and my family free from any humiliation. There's a person who tweeted and said that President Zuma owes me an apology, which I will welcome. And I don't think it's only him who owes me an apology. In this very office, I think at the time I was occupying the office above this floor, on the 4th floor. Mr. Hali owes me a big apology because he's the one who approached me. And he left me in the lurch. Again, Mr. Masuta also owes me an apology for the things that he confirmed under oath in an affidavit about me, which he knew very well at the time when he made those affirmations about me, that they were not correct. And I think, again, Mr. Khadebe, Jeff Khadebe, I know he owes me an apology because I believe Mr. Khadebe was influenced in doing this. I think he was misled.